So iOS 26 has been out for about a month now, and after living with it day to day, this has got to be one of Apple's bigger refreshes they've had in a long time. From a complete redesign to AI integration to messages features to even upgrades inside Apple Music, there is a lot happening here. And today I'm going to cover 4 things about this update and a couple extra things that you might not know about. Let's get into it. And let's start with the obvious, the new look. Apple completely reworked the UI for iOS 26. Everything now has this glossy, layered appearance. Think of it as iOS 7's minimalism reborn with a 2025 polish. The widgets, the new look of icons, and the control center all have transparency and motion. And it honestly makes your phone feel like there is glass in it, which is pretty cool. And to be real, when I first updated, I didn't necessarily like it at the beginning. It was very minimalistic and things were kind of shuffled around. But as I've continued to use it, I've actually liked it a lot more than the previous updates. Compared to when the beta came out, Apple has fixed a lot of their bugs and their issues. And even when it glitches or slows down, which is super nice, the worst thing is when you get a new update and it's super slow. So now that it's been a month, all the bugs are out and it's been super fast. There has been a couple times where if I screen record on like low power mode or something, it gets buggy. But other than that, it's been great. And question for you guys, do you like the glossy finish or has Apple gone too far? Let me know down below in the comments. Let's talk about Apple Intelligence. And yes, Apple Intelligence. Apple really tried this year to up their game, you could say, with Apple Intelligence. They've added a couple features, like you can now create images from text prompts, very similar to back in the day when DALL-E was super popular. Now Apple's isn't as necessarily like realistic as DALL-E's was, but it does a decent job. It's a little bit more cartoon-like, but it still does a pretty good job from taking your text to an image. It can now summarize long messages or emails instantly. And that one's pretty nice as well because sometimes you get a long email or text message and you're like, I do not want to read that all. And so the nice thing with AI is that it will able to read the whole thing and then give you the key points and summaries of what you need to know. And obviously it's not perfect. There are some flaws, but overall it's been a really good experience. Apple's really been able to make your phone feel premium and smooth and high quality. Most of the processing happening for this AI is happening on device, which makes it a little bit more private. Could be a reason why they're a little bit behind on AI. I'm not really sure. But they do try and keep your information as private as possible, which is the Apple way. Now, is Apple late with the AI? Maybe, and you can check out my video down below, and I made a video about is Apple behind. But they are really trying to, do their best to integrate AI into their systems. For example, now in Photos, you can, like Google, get a magic eraser and take people, images, or things that are not wanted in the photo, and it can erase them. Now, it's not perfect every time, and it does make mistakes, but when it works, it does pretty well. And it's not 90 to 80%, it varies. Sometimes it does a horrible job, and sometimes it does a really good job. Just kind of depends, but they do have a cool animation on it, which I respect. Apple's really good at making it feel like it's premium. They're doing their best to get AI, which is better than having no AI. And so hopefully as they continue to release updates, hopefully their AI does get better. But another interesting thing is messages and the phone app. So messages and the phone app, there has been some really cool features here. Some that we haven't had previously. One is that it is now able to detect when you get spam texts or calls. So when you get a text, it puts it in a category. There's 3 lines that you hit, and you have your messages, your spam, and your trash. So now with this new section, if you do get a spam text, you can either put it in there or Apple will automatically detect it and put it into the spam section so you're not flooded with spam. And same thing with your phone. If you get a call, sometimes they'll ask the person to say their name and why they're calling. You do have to turn this on, but it is helpful. If you are a person who does get a lot of scam calls, it'll make it a lot easier to hide that. With messages, we've actually seen a big update this year compared to previous years with the messaging app. And the first thing being is you can now change your background to any image you want, which is super nice. If you are familiar with Facebook Messenger, they are able to change their background as well. And so this kind of seems like Apple's pulling a little inspiration from that. But now you're able to take an image from Apple, one that they created, or upload one yourself, which is nice. You're able to add polls inside a group chat. So say you're like, where we want to go for dinner, and you can put in like 5 different options. People can vote on it, and it kind of simplifies things. One thing that is annoying though is every time someone votes, it like sends you like a text message alert, which is kind of annoying, but not that big of a deal. It's been honestly pretty nice, but those are some features I feel like at the beginning you're super hyped about, and now a month later I kind of just forget about it. But overall, I mean, if you do want to use it, it can be super nice. Now this one's interesting, Apple Music. Now it's probably something you're not expecting, and something that could be on that you don't even expect, but it's called auto mixing. So Apple with this update added an auto mixer where using AI, it figures out where it needs to transition your 2 songs. So it could transition with 4 seconds left or up to even like 30 seconds. And it tries to make it as smooth as possible. There's some genres like country music where honestly I'd prefer it not on, but if you're more into like rap, I found that to be a lot more smooth, and you can get some fire transitions or kind of mid, but overall I've kept it on. It makes the listening experience kind of fun to see what transition you're going to get next, which has been super cool. Plus there's some interesting ads that have been added. So there's a new preview app where you're able to see like your files and all that stuff, which is kind of interesting that they made this preview app. But they also made a gaming app as well, so it shows all the games that you have. I don't know if they're trying to just have you delete your apps on your home screen. You can just click that and just get your games that way. I'm not sure, since I'm not that big of a gamer, but I guess it could be a nice feature. I'm not sure. But with all this together, it has made iOS 26 feel like a major update and a major refresh that we've been needing. And honestly, I've liked it. So iOS 26 isn't perfect, but it's good and it's better. And the new redesign, new AI features just helps your experience feel better. I'm curious, what is your favorite feature so far? And comment that down below in the comments and let me know. And also subscribe to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.